You know, and I know, and they know, cause we know, we go all in. You know, and I know, they know, cause we know, we go all in.
DJ White's in the building. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Welcome to the newest edition of What You've Been Missing. It's your boy K Dizzle DC, and the boy Hef Streams is in the building. What it do, man? Happy Father's Day, my guy.
Happy Father's Day to all the wonderful, fine dads out there, including yourself, Mr. K. Dizzle DC, proud father of four. Happy Father's Day, sir. How you doing,
Hey,
man?
hey. I'm living the dream, man. Look, I'm telling you, around this time every year, I invest in two things that I know that are going to yield some strong returns in the stock market. Okay. It's two things. Remember this, Hap. Okay. Socks and boxers. All right. Those two things go skyrocket during the month of June. Okay. Socks and boxers. Okay. Happy Father's
Socks and
Day,
drawers.
Beard. What up? Welcome. Welcome in. Welcome
What up,
everybody.
410 Beard? We know what's the all dressed up podcast when 410 Beard comes through.
You know what it is, Arizona Ron. Happy pullout game week day. You know what it is.
Oh, I like that. I like
Oh,
that. Hey
pullout
man,
game week
hey
day.
Arizona's dropping some good shit on Facebook and
Oh
Instagram
man.
all week, and then when it came down to Father's Day, he had some nice passages and quotes. So shout out to Arizona. I'm glad you came through as usual. My
Arizona,
man be breaking it down.
he be having all the group chat picks to
He
be
shuts it
sparking
down, man.
controversy, right? But now, shout out to all the fathers, man, and all the illegitimate fathers, and for lack of
What'd you
better,
say?
fathers and illegitimate fathers, and lack of
Oh
better,
shit, here we go.
lack of uh, to be highly uncouth, all the sock children out there. We ain't gonna talk about that. DJ White, pound it up,
What
pound
up?
it up. I slid that in there.
Happy
But look,
Father's
man,
Day, DJ White.
today is the day that we celebrate dads. We always clown, right? That we get the short end of the stick, but truthfully, we don't. We're here. We're always here. That never changes. I think the difference is we celebrate our moms more because um, women are the start of it all. They're the beginning. They're the ending and beginning, and we are the provider.
Man, before you get into talking about women already, it's Father's Day, K. So what did you do for Father's Day? What did your family do for you?
You know what I did most of the day?
What you do?
Homie,
That's what I want to hear.
I slept most of the day. Hey, Belinda. Happy Father's Day. Thank you. Happy B-Day countdown to have streams. You know what's good. I slept, man. My kids cooked me breakfast in the afternoon. That was an
Nice.
all-day event. Um,
What'd you eat for breakfast?
I had some eggs, I had some bacon, I had some pancakes, I had some hash browns, and they did their thing, man. They did their thing. I'm appreciative, man. My girls are great. They're no.
So are you a pancake guy or a waffle guy?
I'm whatever you want to cook. I don't care. I'm a food guy. I'm going
I
to eat.
feel you on that, bro.
I'm going to eat. No pancake, no waffle, either one. Whatever one come out good. That's all I care about.
Okay, so breakfast was nice. That's real nice, man.
What'd you do today, homie? Come on,
You
man.
know, I got to get some rest as well. Um, French toast guy. Okay.
Oh.
Uh,
You know
me and
me.
me and my baby, we got to get out and go grocery shopping because I told her, I said, let's cook out today. Let's put some food on the grill.
Okay.
And so we went out, got some nice stuff from the grocery store, came home, and we just got finished cooking right before the show because I prepare very, very methodical. I thought I was going to be able to get it all done, but just finished up and I'm going to eat as soon as the podcast is over. So
Okay.
looking forward to it. But nah,
I
it's
got
a
I
good
got
day.
I got to put you on the game. Yeah, he a French toast guy. Wait a minute. French toast sticks?
What's up? What's up?
French
What's up,
toast.
Shanae? What's up, Melinda? I
Man.
know, my birthday is Tuesday. To
Woo!
anybody in the chat that wants to, send me a cash app, my cash app was shut down. It was shut down.
It was shut down.
So just yeah, just reach out to me. I'll give you my Zelle. I will appreciate any gifts for my birthday. I'll be the big 3-5 KD this year. The big Trey 5 on Tuesday.
Ooh, man. Life comes at you
No
fast.
glitz. No glitz on Father's Day.
Life comes at you fast, man. No glicks on Father's Day. Shit.
Man, when you met me, I was a lot younger than 35. I'll tell you that.
Ooh, 20. What? No. You were under 30, weren't you?
I was. I was.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
But we'll talk about some stuff tonight. We'll get into some personal stories. Tonight's gonna be a good episode. We're definitely gonna give you guys some time to come in, but we're gonna talk about dads, man. Your dad's dads, your dad's dads is dads, and what's good, what comes with fatherhood. Thank you, Arizona. I appreciate that, man. But Arizona was dropping some gems on
Mm-hmm.
social media today. He was talking about the importance of fatherhood and what it means to children nowadays to
Yeah.
have a dad that's present. We're going to talk to you about your experience with your father and what fatherhood is for you. We're
Mm-hmm.
going to talk about my experiences and get involved with the chat. Excuse me, but I know the chat was asking about the text line. The number is up right now. It is 301-857-1757. Please text. You can join the conversation. We do appreciate you guys if you coming live this evening. But we're talking about dads. It's Father's Day, good or bad. You can talk about your experience, what your dad means to you. If you want to come on live and just give a nice positive message about dads or to your dad, come on through. We welcome that as well. But what's up, K? Does what's on your
Yeah.
mind, bro?
So I'm going to repeat that. I'm going to repeat. I'm saying it now. I'm going to repeat it later. If you want to come in, you want to text me, text or video chat, bring it in, and tell us one of the best things that you remember that your dad taught you growing up. What was the best tool that your dad taught you, or learn lesson that you learned through him growing up? Um,
Okay.
301-857-1757. Join it. Maybe your conversation or your message could bless somebody else that needs to hear that or need to hear that lesson. Anything you want, bring it on the stage. We want to talk about it. We're going to get into a lot tonight. It's going to be great, and it's going to be thought provoking, like every other
It
night.
always is, right? It
Always is.
always is, man.
But it's important to have these conversations because truth of the matter is you're not having them conversations anywhere else. That's just fact. And if you are, you're having them small circles. This way, it opens up for a lot of other people, so you can get a lot of other ideas and emotions, experiences to help widen your view of the world, and you get some culture, man. And you look, always be ready to learn. And we're talking about dads, and it's gonna be exciting, man. Look, I'm happy that we're here. I'm happy that I made it. I'm glad to be here with you on episode 20.
Man, episode 20, man. 20 weeks straight consistent. Shout out to the All Dressed Up podcast, man.
Shout out to
Episode
ADU
20, man.
podcast, man. We
And
doing
we appreciate all the people who've been with us since day one. The Arizona Rons, the 410 Beards, the Melinda Hefflins, the Patricia Hefflins, the Shanae Wilborns, the crew, man. We appreciate you
right.
guys. But thank you, Arizona. And like Arizona told me, he said, Heff, just try to be consistent, man. Don't worry about going viral. Just build it over time. Just keep that good consistent content coming in, and I'll support you and we appreciate you, bro. So
Ain't no
we're
worry,
gonna
worry about
keep it
that.
moving, man.
We gonna see it every day, 4th of July. And
You sticking to that all
I'm
4th of July. You letting the CEO know now. We're the
I'm
CEOs, K Dizzle.
telling
It's
you
us,
right
bro.
now.
You don't
Don't
gotta keep saying it like you're letting us know you're gonna call out. Like it's
Don't look
okay.
for me. Don't look. Don't look for me. I'm telling you, it's
It's like
like the
you're already
vacation.
like, hey man, I'm gonna be sick. I'm gonna be sick that Wednesday, bro.
It's
I'm
like
not
the
gonna make it.
vacation that you put in, that you know that they know that they try to
What day?
cancel.
What day
They
is the
ain't gonna
Fourth of
cancel,
July on this year?
huh? 4th of July is on Sunday, bro. 4th of July
All
is on
right, yeah.
Sunday.
So you're gonna be somewhere having a blast with your family. So I know that's gonna be a good thing. Shout out for one. We appreciate you, man. That's what we're gonna do. Keep doing our thing.
And
And
sooner than later. Hold on, let's talk about it. Sooner than later, we're gonna have. It's gonna be all dressed up in one
Mm.
room. Sooner than later, because look, we outside. We outside already. Okay. So you ain't gonna get the video chat. The video chat's gonna be two cameras, same room. We about to get this shit. Oh, bro, I got the outfit. What you talking about, bro? You may
Man,
not
what
even
they
have
gonna
me
do?
an
And you
outfit.
know
Bro.
what?
I can stay in my house and just walk around ass naked, kick my kids out, everything. Yeah. Happy Father's Day, Chrome. What up, man?
Happy Father's Day, Chrome Sugar Third. But yeah,
Shout
man.
out to Chrome,
And you
man.
know, and we're not gonna let you guys know when we're gonna pop up all dressed up live in face and in person. It's gonna be an event. We just gonna bust it out on y'all and shit and let it just let it marinate. But I think it's gonna be a show. We're gonna make it eventful. Oh, happy
Nighthawk.
Father's Day, Mr. Davenport.
Mr.
Yes,
Davenport in the
sir.
building. Hey, hey, hey. What's up,
If you
Nighthawk?
got something, if you got some time, Mr. Davenport, please text and join the conversation. We always appreciate your positivity, sir.
Hey,
But
so
let's
let's
talk about. Oh, go ahead.
go ahead. Nope, nope, nope. It's on you. It's
I'm
on you.
drinking beer. I'm drinking beer tonight. It's Father's Day. I was around the grill, So let's talk about sports, man. Let's liven this thing up. Let's wake up for a minute, right? So if you haven't heard, if you've been under a rock, I don't know who's left in the NBA
Come on,
playoffs, man. It's a
man.
whole bunch of scrubs, man. I mean, not scrubs, but it's a whole bunch of people that nobody cares about. And I'm not one of those guys. Like, I'm not just watching the game only if LeBron plays. I mean, LeBron's my guy, K. Does you know that?
Yep.
But the NBA playoffs moves on. So here we go. We got Philly and Atlanta in a tight game tonight. It's a game 7. I'm not sure if you're rooting for the Hawks or the 76ers, but Atlanta's up 248-46 as we speak. So shout out to who is sticking with us tonight during our podcast because we on while the NBA playoffs is on.
Yeah,
So
we tripping.
and the Clippers just squeaked out a game 7 win against the Utah Jazz. Utah was up by like 17 points, 22
Oh
points.
my God. What's up,
Clippers
Nighthawk?
Clippers come back.
Nighthawk.
Pandemic P said I didn't need Kawhi Leonard. No, no, no. I'm good to go. He came out there, dropped a
No, no,
40
no,
pointer,
not today.
and he got them in a game 1 against Phoenix Suns in the Western Conference Finals. They played today. Phoenix dropped them off 120 to 114. So that's what you get when you come out of a game 7 series against Utah. You get the Phoenix Suns and you get dropped off. I hope Phoenix takes it all too, Shanae. It's
That's
interesting you
what
say
got it.
that because
The Nets are out.
I want to
50.
see CP3. Yeah, the Nets are out, man. How you feel about everybody jumping on KD, right? Before we leave sports, right? Everybody jumped on KD and was all talking about how he's the best on the planet because LeBron James was out, and I think they're sitting next to each other watching the same games.
What? Man, they sharing
They
pound
gone they
cake,
gone
right?
fishing together. They gone fishing.
Drinking mimosas and sharing pound cake together.
So who
Look,
you got, man? Who you got tonight in the second half of this Hawks 76ers game?
I think the 76ers are gonna pull it out.
Okay.
I
So the
think they're gonna pull it
76ers
out.
will go see the 76ers will go see what am I thinking about?
The Bucks.
The Bucks. Who's gonna win that series?
I don't even care. He's sitting next to it. Yeah, he's
Come
sitting next to his mom.
on, man, give me your
His
predictions, man. I know you
prediction.
don't care, but who you gotta pick somebody.
I'm gonna pick somebody, and I'm gonna pick the 76ers. I'm gonna pick the
To
76ers.
take to go to the finals
Yep.
over the
76ers.
Bucks, over
Yep.
the Greek Freak.
Yep.
My man 410 said the Hawks with my man Trey Young with the bird. Okay. See, that's what happens when LeBron gets eliminated. Everybody starts picking different teams. You don't know what the hell's gonna
You
happen.
don't know what's going on right now. It's so random. It's random as hell.
All
But
right.
I got the 76ers and the Suns, and I got
And
it
you
going.
taking Phoenix.
I'm taking Phoenix. Yeah, 4-2.
Okay.
4-2.
So CP3 gets his ring. That's the prediction from the All Dressed Up podcast. I can rock with that, man. Even though Milwaukee's looking good. And Chris Middleton's hooping, man. Shout out to Chris Middleton.
Yeah, he is. He is.
So what else, man? Before we go into
Before we
the deep
go into
dive on
it, man,
Father's Day,
we want
what's
to
on your
highlight
mind?
some. We want to highlight some dads, some good dads that are. We want to just highlight, man, that we know are doing good things, that are in their kids' lives and being present, because it's Father's Day. Tell his
I
black
wish we had a good song, man. We need like a producer so he could have wrote out a song for this segment.
I know, man. We need a good song that ain't that's not copywritten.
Yeah, that's not copyright.
It's copyright. You want to go with yours first here?
Go
Who
ahead.
you want?
Who we putting up first? What's up,
Who
Mr.
you want me to pull
Davenport?
up?
Everybody's pulling for the Suns.
Everybody pulling for the Suns, man.
What up, my guys, man? We shouting out. We shouting out dads today, man. Everybody, we're talking about guys who are doing their thing, in the community and for their children. That's my man Davon Sims right there. Shout out to Davon Sims. That is my fiance's cousin. They're pretty much like brother and sister, really. And that's his baby girl Zoe. Love her to death. She is a sweetheart, and he definitely, paves the way for young, single fathers out there, doing his thing. Always there for his baby. Very admirable. I told him just a few minutes ago, man. He was here hanging out with me. I said, man, just the way you guys hang out together is very nice to see. And people need to start focusing on positive things like that. And good dads exist, and Davon Sims is definitely a great dad. So happy Father's Day, bro. Shout out to you.
We're gonna switch it left and right. I don't know who the hell the Wizards gonna get for real, for real, for real.
One of the
They
best
need to get
dads
somebody
Shanae
good.
knows.
Shit.
Bianca
I'm.
said he's such a great dad.
I told you off right before we came on. I know a bunch of dads with a bunch of kids because I got a bunch of kids, and that's how things go.
Yeah, and if we don't say your name individually, that's definitely not a slight to you because there's a lot of good dads out here.
Look, I'm gonna give a shout out to my homie Ethan Ware. Ethan Ware, I got four girls. He's got four boys. His wife and my wife are best friends. Me and Ethan grew up in the same neighborhood. Um, all four of his boys play soccer. These all good dudes. They get good grades. Come from well managed home. And Ethan is a hilarious dude. Unfortunately, he's a Lakers fan, but I still rock with him. And he coaches, he assistant coaches, and he stays constant in his kids' lives. Man, he's grooming good men for and good humans for this earth, man. So shout out to Ethan Ware, Naya Ware, and all the boys there. Ethan, Tristan, Beckham, and Tyler.
That's what's up,
You know
Mr.
these
Ware.
guys do
Shout
a
out to
really
you.
good job, man. So shout out there. What up, Smallwood? What's
What
going
up,
on?
Smallwood?
Davon Simpson. Bianca Wilson in the building. Hey, Bianca.
Host and grow.
In a week, I'm gonna have that hashtag hoes can grow. I'm gonna have
Love
that
to
in a
see
week.
it. Love
I'll
to
be on the
see it.
shirt. Don't worry about it. All right.
Nah, but we appreciate you though, Davon. Thanks for tuning in, man. Seriously though, man. Meant that from the heart. Definitely wanted to tell you that. And you know, happy Father's Day to you.
All right, I got you. I got your next one lined up, man. I got you right here.
My main man, Brian Riley. What's that? Is that the baby girl in the picture?
That is the baby girl in the
See,
picture.
see,
Sweet pea.
that's a beautiful baby girl right there. Shout out to Brielle. That's the new baby of the family. Brian's got like 6 or 7 children. No disrespect if I miscounted, but he's a great dad. Always been a great dad. He was actually a mentor to me when I was younger, like a big brother.
Mm-hmm.
Great guy. Family first. Always been around. If you needed him, one of those type of guys that was a friend of me. But just again, somebody who is always positive, always there for his kids, and very inspiring. And I appreciate how he carries himself. And happy Father's Day to you, Brian.
Hey, man, the button-up game strong. I'm gonna have to hold on. Button-up game strong right
Uh
there
oh.
with the
Uh oh.
Oxford. Oxford strong collar. Shout out to him, man.
Oh,
Shout out
what's
to
up? What's up? What's up, Darian? Happy Father's Day to you.
D Watson in the building. What's up, man? Happy Father's Day, brother. All right. And last but not least, let me give it to I gotta give it to him, my young blood. This is actually my nephew-in-law, Sam Sam Smalls. Um, one of my older nieces' husbands. He's got brand new baby boy. Um, I there's not much that I can't say about this young dude. I mean, he takes care of his family. He's a hardworking man. He hustles on the side. He's there for his kids. He does all the right things. Says all the right things. He ain't in the streets. He's just a good human. When they raised this young boy, they raised him right, and he's the
That's
best
what's up.
fit. You know what I'm saying? The best fit that I could ever dream for my niece, Fallon. who raised a kid. I mean, like they just had a they just had a little boy, um, and they got two other kids. He's got a daddy's girl that loves him to death, and he's just a good kid, just a good kid, good young kid, and is about his business. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's all you can ask for. That's all you can ask for. A guy that's present, a guy that's there, is a guy that's going to be care and is an example of what fatherhood should be. So shout out Sam, I love you. You know who you are to me, and you know how much I care about what you do and who you are, and I'm proud of you. So those are all the dads that we just want to showcase really quick today, and just do something different other than Black Business on Father's Day, because uh, like everyone, you need your flowers now. And if you're doing a good job, keep it up. Stay consistent and stay active. And we love you. And just know that people are watching and are seeing the great things that you're doing, and we appreciate it. Nothing
And
goes
Kados, I'm not to pat ourselves too much in the back, but that's the concept that we try to bring. We try to shout out and spotlight positivity, and being a great dad or a great parent in general is very important in today's society. And we can always get online and watch a lot of BS and push the narrative and waste a lot of time and go down the rabbit hole. But if me and you could bring out some good stuff every week, and if we can keep growing this way, we really appreciate it. And just keep spreading the positivity. And like I said, thank you guys, and a lot of great dads we put out online tonight. So
for
shout
sure.
out, shout out.
And again, man, if you got something that your dad taught you or a lesson that you learned that could help somebody, look, come in this biatch. Okay. I'm using I'm using it early, and share what you learned, share what you, or whether it be good or bad. See, here's the thing about it too. Good dads will teach you a lot of great stuff. Bad dads will teach you a lot of great stuff too. So don't take for granted if you did not have a father figure in your life, or your father wasn't a good figure in your life. You learn some things on how to not be that way, or you learn some things on what they did right and wrong. So through every great situation, good or bad, is always a lesson to be learned. And look, if you got it, you want to share it. 301-857-1757 is the number. Text me. I will send you a link. Your ass will get up on here, and you will share what you got to share. But we got a lot to cover tonight. We're gonna talk about. Woo! Look, I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this manifest that have sent. Now, if y'all don't know, I'll do all the technical stuff, right? I do all the technical stuff, and Hef does all the legwork on researching on the conversation that we have. We game plan, we game storm, we game plan, we storm it out. But he truly brings it to life. So I appreciate you on that end, man. This tandem works phenomenally, and we're just gonna keep this thing rolling. But look, where do you want to start? Because I'm telling
All
you.
right, let's do it this way, man. It's Father's Day weekend. We're talking about all different aspects of fatherhood. One thing I wanted us to start with, and I would say it's a softball, question is, let's start off with our personal experiences. So, Kate Dizzle, if you don't mind, I don't know how far you want to go. You don't got to go too far deep into it. It's up to you. But let's talk about your personal experience that you had with your dad.
Oh,
Go ahead and carry it for a second, bro.
all right, I'll carry it. So let me say this. Um, I had my dad until the age of 8. I was fortunate to have my dad until the age of 8. Um, and one of the things that I learned from him being a father, and the biggest thing that he ever taught me, that still the way that I live my life is exactly what he taught me. There's two things he said. Take the word can't out of your vocabulary, and you can do anything that you put your mind to. And I am a firm believer in that. I've never not tackled anything or tried anything. I've always learned how to figure it out. I always had a good knack of figure it out, and I firmly believe that there's nothing that I can't do. Um, my dad lived until the age of 36, and um, just to give you a kind of snippet, um, he went to North Carolina A&T. and Howard University on a golf scholarship. This dude was from a backwood country by the name in Martinsville, Virginia, which is like 2 hours outside of Danville, Virginia. There's nothing but red clay dirt and mountains out there, right? Went to school on a golf scholarship. Um, went to graduated from Howard University in the 80s. Was a Q, Omega Psi Phi chapter 3 lines. Okay, in Omega Psi Phi, he was a class president for 3 years out of 4 years he was at Howard. Um, one of the first, my dad was one of the first to graduate Howard University um, business school and graduate School of Medicine. So he graduated with a business degree and a doctorate degree in general medicine from Howard University at the same damn time. Um, and he ended up running 3 different businesses, and this is in the early '80s. Um, and all of this he accomplished by the age of 36. Okay, so the legacy that was left behind was retarded. And I'll tell you, and still to this day, I'm 40 years old, and I will meet people that my father knew or met or had an experience with that still to this day, if we talk about them to that person, it will bring tears to their eyes. And then my dad's been gone for over 30 years.
Wow.
So me growing up, it took me a long time to learn. Now, you'll see, like I'll put I'll put Junior in my stuff, but my dad never gave me the moniker Junior. Yeah, shout out to Pops, right? He never gave me the moniker Junior because he never wanted me to have to live up to what he did,
Mm,
right? He never, and
that's
that's what he
deep.
told my mom. I never wanted him to live, try to live up to what I did. But I spent my entire adult career trying to do that, even though he wasn't here. And that was one of the things as I grew up that I struggled as a man trying to trying to emulate that type of success when he was just different. But one of the things that he taught me in going through all that was to never quit. Take the word "can" out of your vocabulary, and and believe that there's nothing that on this world that you can't do. You can do anything that you put your mind to. And look, man, like I said, 8 years old. I had him up to 8 years old, and it's just crazy. I think about it now, and I'm thankful for the time that I had, but more so than anything, I'm thankful for the amount of people that he touched in the short time that he was here. Because all throughout my career, all throughout my life, I met somebody that knew him, that's helped me, that's opened the door for me to get to another place that I never thought I could. So, shout out to my dad. Oh, and one small thing, right? Um, I drink like this Perrier, right? I drink Perrier,
I drank it too, man. It's a good
right?
choice.
The only reason I drink Perrier, it's not for the taste. It don't taste like shit. For real. We drink it because we like to drink it, just because we like to drink it.
It's a
Um,
good substitute for
it's a
soda, though. If you don't
good
want to keep
substitute
drinking
for
soda.
soda, right? I only drink it. I only drink it because my dad drank it. Like, I used to have Perrier bottles all around the house. My dad drank it, and it's one of the things that my wife was like, you don't have to drink it, even if you don't like it. But it's one of those things that you pick up, be like, you know what? You're right, I don't. But it's just something I want to do, something that I want to carry. The littlest things from my dad that I'm just going to keep carrying on regardless. So if those little things that you do around your kids and around the people that you love and that you're a mentor to, they pick up those things and they watch it. And so yeah, shout out to my dad. And I put a post earlier. I've never felt more close to him at age 40 than I ever have before in my life. Because when you get to this age, uh, life and perspectives change, and you start seeing things the way that your parents see them. So yeah, I know I kind of went on. You told me to carry it, but look,
Nah, but that was very. Go ahead.
that's me and pops in a nutshell. And I celebrate Happy Father's Day, and I just try to do the best that I can do. And I'm glad he didn't give me that junior moniker because, hey, Talitha, welcome, welcome. Happy Father's Day to you. I'm glad he didn't give me that moniker because it taught me how to really try to be my own man. Happy Motherfuckers Day, Hillbilly. Um,
Shout out to Hillbilly. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day.
I love it. Happy Mother's Day. But yeah, that's it. Hey, so Hef, now that I've spilled my life story on there, man, share a little bit about Pop so we can get
Yeah.
this thing over
So
with, man. Talk about it.
so so one thing I wanted to say is like, you know, I talked to you off the air, and I said tonight when we talk about some things, please, ask me questions if it comes up. Because I want to be as real as possible. Not to sound cliche, but I definitely want to, be candid about the topic because I think it's very important.
Yeah,
Crystal said Dad was a beast. That's what's up.
yeah. Shout out to my sister Crystal. I love you.
So, speaking of me personally, my dad had me at a young age. I know he was like 19, my mom was 19 or whatever. And I guess they had that young love or, that 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 kind of puppy love thing that people used to have back in the day. And they ended up, I guess, having a child, not really planning it. It's 86. It's one of those, I guess, times or generations to where a lot of things was going on. Oh, you're amazing, bro. And long story short, I guess things didn't work out, so he had to make a move. And my dad personally, from what I was told, he was in the Marines. He ended up going out to California. He had like three more kids in California.
Mhm.
But I was the oldest though. So shout out to my two sisters in California. One might be watching tonight, Chanel. Then I got a brother out there in California as well. And then now he actually lives in Chicago. So he has a daughter that he's raising in Chicago. So I make jokes like, Papa was a Rolling Stone, but sometimes, you got to call a spade a spade
Yeah,
at the end of the day.
yeah, for sure.
And, I thought about how I was going to come into tonight because when I get into this topic, I get emotional. Like this morning, waking up on Father's Day, it means a little bit different to me
Yeah.
than it might mean to everybody else. And I'm not trying to sit here and be like, woe is me or cry the blues because I didn't have a
No.
dad that was present. But just like you said, it's two sides. Like when I heard you talk about your dad, it was wonderful because I can feel the passion in your voice from the impact that he left upon you. And that's a great thing. You know what I'm saying? That's something that I think any young man deserves coming up in this world. But when you don't have that experience, you have to find other ways to substitute to get that type of feeling or emotion because I didn't have a dad. And my grandmother, she helped out big time when it came to my mom raising me. So I was blessed to have her. I can't sit here and complain and I have a dad because my grandmother was incredible.
Hmm.
If you know me, a lot of people will know that really, I called my grandmother mom, and that's no disrespect to my mom,
Yeah.
but she did such a great job in helping to raise me.
Right.
But that's what I want to get into tonight. Like the next question is, do people like myself, and I can start this question off, is there resentment for people who grew up without their dads in their life?
Yeah.
Do people gain a form of resentment? I think that's a good question. And did I gain a form of resentment? I guess I'd have to say in some way I did
Okay.
because personally I felt like I was always going to play the hand I was dealt,
Hmm.
figuratively speaking. And because I didn't have a dad, where am I going to learn how to be a man from?
Hmm.
Where am I going to learn how to walk like a man, talk like a man? And I know we've had a lot of episodes about the pronouns and everything, but with all due respect, I'm talking about something personal tonight, so
Right.
no offense to anybody.
Right.
But where do I go to learn how to be a man? That's the
Yeah.
question. You got your mom in the house, you got your cousins, your aunties, but do you talk to your uncles or do you go into the street and
Hmm.
learn from the guys in the neighborhood? And there was a lot of times to where I did watch the guys in the neighborhood, K Dizzle.
Right.
And I did see how these guys move, and I did watch how other men treated their family and how they treated people in the street. And some things were good, some things were wrong.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I had to make it make sense for me, and I had to take a little bit from here and there
Right.
for me to fill that void. If that makes sense, I hope I'm
Right.
making sense.
No, no, no. You're making all the sense in the world, bro. You're making all the sense in the world.
So I try to use all those different avenues as well as educate myself to fill that void per se, because
Yeah.
for everything that you said that your dad did for you, I didn't really have that. So if you think about it, like, was I at a disadvantage? I could say so, but a lot of people have different situations, and
Right.
that's what we're going to get into now. So what do you think about that? Do you think people who were raised without their dads, do you think that they grow a resentment?
What up, Carlito? What up, man? Welcome in, man. Hey, so let's let's expound on that because I know that I talked about my dad. I talk about my dad all the time, and it helps me to do it. Hillbilly says I didn't have a dad, but people like us don't know what to do. We just have an idea, um, what we don't want. No shame. The world is glad to have you. Um, so let's talk about that. When I told my story, and I tell it in the same way on purpose, because sometimes we get lost in accolades. Like my sister said, my dad was a beast. He did so much in such a little time. He was the example of how to maximize the time on earth that you have to be great. And I started my story off by talking about how long I had him until. I had my dad until I was 8. Okay, I had my dad until I was 8, and he put two profound things in me, and all the stuff that I told you about, I didn't learn until later on in life. Right? It's hard trying to mimic something you have no reference of. So, um, we had a conversation earlier um, about being present. So, my dad was the same way as most fathers were at that time. He worked. So the only time he was present was for special stuff,
Mhm.
right? We go on vacation or other things like that. Other than that, he wasn't there, right? Because he was doing all of this stuff. And even though I had him for that time, we share in the same experiences of most men, where if they don't have a father figure, or the father figure is not in their life, or only in there for a short period of time, we have to take the road of growing up and gathering the things that we think best fit who we should become as we come older, as we grow older and become men. I spent most of my time growing up taking different parts from different men of the great things that I saw, um, and trying to implement those things in what I thought a good dad should be. Our moms, our grandmothers, our sisters, they can only take you but so far. But a man, there's some things that a man is going to teach another man that only a man can teach.
And I'm
Uh,
glad you brought that up because I think that's true as well. And not to offend all of our strong moms out here, like we see a lot of moms out here on the sideline cheering for their NBA players right now, like Kevin Durant's mom. But there's certain things you have to learn, or you have to get from that male perspective.
mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And I think sometimes if you don't get that education from that perspective, you could be learning it in a different lesson down the road,
Yeah,
maybe at the wrong place at the wrong time.
yeah.
You
And I
know,
want to talk.
so
Yeah, I want to talk about the other part of your the other part of your question was the resentment part. The resentment part only comes and is worked through with maturity, because you have to be able to learn to let certain things go. There are things that happen that are not of your control. People make decisions um, based on whatever their own goals are, and they could be devoid of your feelings or respect of you. Um, something about that tenor does resonate differently for boys and girls. So you have to. The resentment part is something that you're gonna have. I'll leave that up. The resentment part is something that you're gonna have to work through. You're gonna have to work through as time progresses. I carried some. I carried some personal resentment as well because I felt for a long time that I was never going to be able to live up to those expectations that my dad set. That I only learned when I became an adult. So you understand what I'm saying? So if you carried some resentment because he was never there, I carry some resentment because he was there for a time, but he left such a tall order that it was hard to stand to measure up against. If that
To just comment on what you're saying, like I can totally respect where you're coming from, and you had just enough, of no pun intended, but like a taste of that experience to where you knew his expectations and you started you down a path of becoming a man. And to lose that, I feel terrible that you had to experience that. I'm sorry that you had that loss
it,
at such a young age.
but see but that's life, man. Here's one thing that you can never count on. You can never count on tomorrow to come. Period. You can never count on tomorrow to come. And your time is your time, and you just got to do the best you can do with what you got. So um the experience is the experience. I mean, that's the only way
But
I can
but
really
but
put it.
but tonight we're gonna go into different situations and we're gonna talk about the ultimate fact that children aren't asked to be here. And children come from parenthood, and obviously a lot of parenthood's not planned. Some parenthood is planned, but
Mhm.
the ultimate result is for the perfect word is we want to be there for our children. You
Right.
have to still have that opportunity. And I wanted to go into the next bullet point that I jotted down was some people have jealousy over people who have fathers and they didn't. I wanted to talk about me and a good friend of mine, and he's actually, it's funny, he's incarcerated right now at the moment. Not going to go into any names, but we grew up together and we're pretty much real tight. We're like family, we're like brothers. And
Hmm.
he always said to me, he was like, you know he was basically saying to me that in his opinion he thought me and him would make the NFL or the NBA if we had dads growing up, and I would
Yeah.
laugh at him. But that was my guy. Like we would always play football together, and we would always play basketball together, but we didn't get like the same type of fatherhood treatments where our dads were taking us to practice, our dads were taking us to games. And maybe I'm making an excuse. And this is where I don't really want to go into like, hey, am I making an excuse for my lack of follow through? Because he always said, like, hey, man, if we had dads like those dads that push their kids to go do this and
Right.
do that, we had the talent, we could have did this. And do you start like Arizona Ron says in the chat, do you start hating other people that got dads because you don't got a dad?
Right.
And you don't
Right.
have your dad that can take you to go play ball on the weekend, and you want to go with them. You want to go with your man's and his dad.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
It's different. It's different. It's definitely different. But
I'm telling you, it's some different, interesting levels to this
yeah,
conversation.
growing up, and like you said, it's a different experience. But it's also a different experience to be able to see those friends that were dads, that actually those dads even reach out and to want to be a figure to you as well, knowing that you don't have a dad. So it's interesting to say the least. Growing up, we growing up, it's hard to say because what I'm saying, we got the same experience but different, different on how it played out, right? Same experience but different on how it played out. And
Right.
so um, for me, I grew up with four sisters and a mom, and that's what I had. And so it wasn't, the testosterone in my house was just me, so it was just different. So I learned through everybody else's dads, you know.
But imagine this though, bro. Like I grew up with my grandmother and my mom, and at that point, my mom was young, so she wasn't always home.
Hmm.
And then my grandmom had three daughters, so I had my aunts, and I was the first grandchild born, the first boy.
Hmm.
Everybody else were all girls. So when it came down to me being a teenager, my mom, she ended up getting married when I was a teenager, and I had a stepdad, and that was my first experience of having a male in the home. And watching my stepdad at the time, he didn't always, depict the perfect, behavior, or he wasn't always the perfect role model either.
Hmm.
So I had to get experiences from him on what a man was supposed to do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I never had a chance to get an understanding of, my phone's going off, to get an understanding of, that type of, I guess, that type of dynamic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And look. Here's the first ride along right here. We'll slide
Get
up
an
in here.
understanding of,
What
what
up,
up, babe? What
Arizona
up, bro?
Ron? You got the Halo pick going on, man. What you got, bro? What you got to this fatherhood chat, man? I'm tagging you in right now, man. Bring me something. You there? Uh-oh.
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 Uh-oh. That's the
See?
Xfinity Mobile. Everybody wants to
That's
step
that
out.
Comcast.
Everybody wants to step outside the box of the Sprint, Verizon, AT&T.
Come on, man. You go with what works, bro. Jimmy
Um,
is a
no, I
dying
had I was
franchise.
trying to pause the TV so it wouldn't be giving an echo and all that.
What's up, baby?
What's going on, fellas?
What's going
What's
on,
up,
man?
man? We
What's going?
appreciate you, bro.
Bring that now to the fatherhood conversation, man. What you got?
Well, I just wanted to say like I grew up to like a life similar like both of y'all. Like my dad wasn't around, but he came. He's around now as me as a man. But he wasn't around that much when I was a kid. But I was around his family, so his family is all I know. So it's kind of that gives a little reference. But
Hmm.
I remember earlier y'all said, "What is something your father taught you that you carry on?" And all this stuff y'all see me writing on like Facebook and all that. That's my father. I get all that from him. Like he stepped in and out of my life the whole way. So the thing he taught me was. Um, Feelings ain't facts. It's just a fact that you feeling. So he always told me that to like don't always get in your feelings about certain situations. Start understand that your feelings gonna change. Don't
Right.
fly off the handle just because you feel some type of way, and it's gonna always change. So that was basically what I wanted to say that my father
Hey,
told me.
Arizona, I'm glad you got on the episode and chimed in tonight because, you and I, we know each other for a long time, right?
Right.
And we come from similar backgrounds. And what would you say would be something that you would recommend you do? Or what do you do? Because I kind of know the answer. Like, where do you find that direction when you don't have that dad in the household that's not present? Like, where would you, if your dad didn't tell you that you were writing on social media, like,
Mhm.
where else can you find it from? Like, where else do, like, the guys that we grew up with, like me and other people that didn't have dads at all, like, where else do you get that knowledge from?
Well, what I would say is, for me, it just came with common sense. Once I find out something not working, just how I'm moving is not working, is not adding up to something positive. I just gotta let it go. So once I start understanding that as a man, like some things just don't serve me no more. Flying off the handles, catching the attitude, it just don't serve you no more. And then once I start educating myself, and also it's a side of YouTube called the Manosphere, and it's a lot of people talking about these same issues we talking about right now.
Of
And I
course.
had to realize when you growing up with women, it can hinder you to a certain degree because as a male, you seeing the world through women's eyes, and you can't see it logically through a male's perspective. So you start picking up these feminine traits, which a lot of people I know, I got some men in jail too, and it's like when something crazy happen, they fly off the handles, they end up in these dangerous and crazy situations, opposed to dealing with it logically,
Yep.
because they say they say out through history, men deal with things more logically and women deal with things intuitively.
Yep.
So when we put logic, and when you don't have a father there, you don't have nobody that explaining to you, you need to logically assess things opposed of just flying off the handles trying to you can't go off your emotions because it's going to cost you more as a man.
Right.
than a woman.
But if you think about it, right, in human nature, the main things that you're gonna need your dad to do, is basically defend you and be there to be your defense
Right,
and show you how to eat,
right,
right? And if you don't have that just from human nature, a person in the household that can provide you that level of defense, there's a lot of young guys that's walking around right now that feel invincible because their dad's the man. You know what I'm
right,
saying? And
right.
and they might carry themselves a certain way in school or on a
They got that
basketball
blueprint.
team, right? Because their dad's that guy,
Yep.
Hmm.
and and if you don't have that, you know what I'm saying? Like what I'm trying to say is like, where do you get that from? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you move? And when you say like growing up with all women, I grew up with all women,
Hmm.
but you got two ways you can go, and I'm not even gonna say you got two ways you can go because it's easy for me to say that. But a lot of guys who were raised by all women, they can tend to be more feminine. Let's just put that
Right.
on the table. Or maybe you can be like me, who I might even say sometimes I overcompensate my masculinity if I got to keep it real, because I knew I was raised by all women.
Right.
I didn't have a dad in the household to defend me if some shit went down.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If something's going down, I'm the man that's going to be there for all the girls in my household. All the little girls going to hit my phone when something happens. And in a sense, like that was like me, I guess, having to be more mature at a faster rate. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't have that guy in the household. So, not to go off tangent, but it's very interesting. There's a lot of interesting points that we can go into. Kay, what else you wanted to talk to Arizona about while we got him?
No, no, super valid points. I mean, there's a difference when you're talking about um, growing in a household full of women. Um, like I said, we share some of the same experiences. Your emotions, depending on the women that you grow up with, live, and the stuff that you learn.
Right.
Yeah, your decisions are a lot based on more emotional than the logical. But
Hmm.
like I said, what we talked about before, it all depends on who you're per se getting your picture of what a man is to be in your life when you're growing up. If you have those positive role models, then you're going to get positivity back. If you don't, then you're not going to perceive that. And what you're watching, what you're feeding yourself. Um, Living with a house full of women for me taught me patience, and
Hmm.
taught me how to be patient, how to be understanding, and how to listen more than
Yeah.
anything else. Because people will tell you everything that you need to know if you're listening
Right.
attentively
Women
about
taught
life.
women taught me that as well. I learned a lot of great things from women. It's like a double edged sword. I learned some good things and I learned some
Hmm.
bad things. I
And
learned how
that's
to
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that because like I was gonna ask you Arizona too, like, is there a difference in the benefits or I guess like in it are there major differences between motherly love and fatherly love?
hell yeah.
Right?
Because
Hell yeah.
Right?
because okay, I'm gonna give you an example of what I seen in my fatherhood. It was something simple. Me and my son's mom, we're trying to teach him how to ride the bike. So she's out there with him because at the time I was working and going to school. I had a hectic schedule, so she's trying to teach him how to ride the bike. And I always go with my own theory and philosophy. Like moms get the love, we get the respect. So when she's out there every day with him, trying to get him to ride this bike, but when I came out there, he got it. He got it that fast. I don't know if it came from the practice with her or I really feel like because when you fall, your mother gonna make it like you scrape your knee. Your mother gonna make it like you broke your leg. Your father gonna tell you to get up and try again. It's all right. It's gonna happen in life.
Right.
I'm not saying that's for all women, but in most cases, that's so. I just see like that structure and that
But you do
father
got some of those
affirmation.
moms though that be stepping in like KD's mom and some of these other sport moms that we see that go hard for their kids.
I
But
know KD. I was in class. He was in my. I can promise you. I know everybody from PG say the same thing, but he was literally in my
you know,
class.
I'm from Suitland too.
KD was
I'm from
literally,
Suitland, bro.
KD was
But
literally in the hood.
I ain't never seen.
He was
But hey, but
literally in the
I
hood.
want to ask you one last question before you go,
Hmm.
because you said your dad came
What up,
into
Ed?
your life later on, right?
Yeah.
So, what do you think about the ability to forgive fathers who weren't there and they want to communicate to you as an adult and make up for that lost time? What would your advice be for that?
Well, my father came. Well, he was always around, but it got a little more intimate when I got older. But when you one thing when you turn into a father, you understand how hard that shit is, and it can get to the point where sometimes some men, the easiest thing is to walk away or go do your own life. But then my father started getting teaching me more stuff like be more, what I'm trying to say. A father's job is a lifetime job. It's just not from 1 to 18. It's a
Yeah,
lifetime job. He teaching me how to be a man. Like I said, he giving me how to deal with stuff as logic. Because when you go through, like I said, I had to shake a lot of single mother stuff off because I was dealing with a lot of stuff through emotions, catching the attitude, quitting, all types of, I wouldn't say, stuff that I learned living in a household full of women. But your father, you want to get that relationship with him because I'm gonna keep it a buck, and some mothers might get mad at me. Your mom might not kept it as real with you as you might have thought she did. She might have gave you her truth and not the objective truth. So I had to understand that too because my mother kind of did that, and my mother is like phenomenal. But at the same time, she gave her truth, not the objective truth.
Mm.
So I
yeah,
had
but you know, it's
So
funny.
some of that resentment got resolved through that as well.
It's funny you say that because I had a similar situation with my father, and like my mother had her facts about the situation, and then I actually gave my dad a chance as an adult.
Hmm.
And when he came around me as an adult, and I'm not even going to get into deep of details, but he handled himself in a way that just disappointed me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying it was up to him. It was up to him to impress me at that age as a man. Like, hey, I'm your dad. Like, I'm gonna come through and like be the super dad type guy. Like maybe I dreamt about as a kid that I thought he was gonna be. But when he came around, man, he was just like he was a Bama, man. And,
Yeah.
and 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 it was more so like, damn, like maybe it was meant for me to experience it this way. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it
Yeah.
was meant for me to not have him to get those traits or characteristics and get them a different way so I can see it. I mean, you just never know, man.
Yeah.
But
And and we all men sitting here right now, and it's easy for us to
Yeah.
speculate.
Let me.
and it's a bad thing to hear, but it's the truth. Is like sometimes it's good that some men ain't dead because they could have caused more damage than any
That's real.
progress. Even
So
so, it's sometimes some people. I feel like any man that don't deal with his child, he's lost to some extent. And you definitely don't want no lost person guiding somebody because they don't know where they going.
and look, let me say this too. Talita says it takes more to hate somebody or have a grudge against somebody than just to forgive. Most of the time, your forgiveness is not for that person. It's
Person
for
is for
you.
you, and that's a
It's for you.
fact.
That those are facts. And let's put this out on the platform first and foremost. Um, yeah, some men just give up too easy. Um, Parenthood is a learning process. And it's an
Hell
on the
fucking
job
yeah.
training.
It
It's
is. It is.
24/7, 365. And some people aren't just cut out for it. That doesn't mean that they're terrible people. That
Mm.
just means that they haven't matured to a point to where they understand that really what's important in life and how your actions affect everything around you. So you do have a situation where you have a lot of dads that weren't there, or a lot of dads that stepped out, or a lot of dads that left, or a lot of moms that left, or whatever the case may be, the relationship broke down, and
Mhm.
now this person has made a choice to no longer be an influence in the life of the child that they brought to this earth. Now, like Talit said, forgiveness only comes through maturity. And when as you grow, that's the only time you're only really going to be able to work through those feelings and emotions, and get through them and process them. Now, if you have a parent, if you have your dad, and they want to come back in your life, and they want to make you,
Allow them that.
or they want you to allow them to be a part of their life, that's a big step. That's a huge step, because that's saying as a man, hey, I made a mistake, and I need to do the things that I should have done. I should have done. Understand that, but I want to be here now. What for whatever reasons there are, and the only way um, that it works is if the person is open and receptive to it.
Right.
And the only way that you get there too is you have to work through your own feelings. Like Hef said, if once he stepped in there and was like, "Yo, blase, blah, ooze, woo," Hef couldn't hear it because all he could think about was what he didn't do.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
All he could think about was what he didn't do.
Mm.
And once you can't work, if you're not able to work past that moment, then you have to take your time with yourself before you can allow that to be able to work through that process
But
so
if
you can
you,
be receptive
but
to it.
if you are any type of dude that's got some type of like, I guess, character and morale about you, and you just don't have that type of, I guess, integrity, you're gonna have a level of resentment to a guy that wasn't there for you. Like
Well,
for me to be able to go out there and say that I learned so much that I've learned, and I did so much without him, of course I'm gonna have a level of like not
mhm,
ego, but like, man, I ain't need you for that shit, you
right,
know. And I'm sorry, but that's the truth, and it's always gonna be like that. And and unfortunately, that's just the case because I maneuvered and did a lot of things without having that perspective, that whole avenue of emotion from a male figure,
right. So,
you know.
take it from this point, and I'm gonna read your names, and I'm gonna say this. At a certain age, you have to take responsibility for the person that you want to become. Nobody's perfect. Holding on to that resentment doesn't help
But
you.
it's not holding on to resentment. Me and her talked about that off the air.
Right. It's you.
There's a difference between holding on to resentment and you just having the facts. The facts are he's not there, so I'm not gonna f with him per se. It's not about holding a grudge.
So
But
so
it
so hear
is.
me out. But hear me out. It is
It
okay.
is.
Take my position for example. All right. And I know it's easy to say, but it carries so much weight to it. Right. My father is not here. Okay. He's not here though. He ain't coming back. He's gone. So the opportunity that I had was the opportunity that I had.
Right.
Whether or not you decide to take that opportunity to learn a bit about who your father
Right.
is completely up to you. And I'll say this, I say it again, time is never on your side, and it's never going to be the perfect timing to do so. And so that's why it's important. And look, take your time to work through those issues, those resentments, the problem you have. And you got to have that real conversation and say, hey, this is why I'm fucked up with you, because of
Yeah.
Right.
A, B, and C, X, Y, and Z. And I have to work through those things. And it's not going to be fixed today. But if you want to be a part of my life moving forward, you have to understand that I'm going to have to work through this stuff. And there'll be some days that I ain't going to like you, some days that you ain't going to like me. But regardless, they're going to be here. And they're going to be here. And unless they're a complete asshole and
Mm-hmm.
you make a conscious decision to say, hey, you bring no value, you add no value to my life, so I don't need you here. That's
Right.
completely up to you. because
Right,
you have every right to protect your energy and your space on that aspect.
right.
But
I was about to
the
say that.
sheer fact of having your father, whether having your father now versus later, is
Well, but look at your perspective. Your perspective is very wise because you can see what your father was able to provide you with,
But
and you
hold on,
can.
hold on. Let me. I don't mean to cut you off, but let me cut you off. I think a lot of us don't know how important fatherhood is and how that can change something in you. Because
amen.
it, like I put in a post earlier, it can move mountains. A father's affirmation and love is one of the most powerful things on earth.
So
You
where do
give,
you get it if you don't get it from your father?
even if are you saying, what if you don't get it from your father?
Yeah, where does that young man get it from?
You can get that father figure love and affirmation from a man that care about you.
Okay.
But I'm just explaining the importance of fatherhood because I don't think a lot of times people put enough emphasis on that importance. That's just like you say, on Mother's Day, you call a restaurant and you can't even get a seat for 2 hours. You call Outback right now, you get a seat right now. But
Yeah,
What? We
but
got booths
absolutely.
open.
I don't think people understand how important fatherhood is. That love and affirmation can change anybody for the better, in
Yeah,
my opinion.
yeah, and let me add to that too. You don't have to be you don't have to be a dad to be a father. You don't have to be a physical dad to be a father. I can shout out a bunch of names. Shout out to Bill Anderson, Kevin Mitchell, Brad, all the OGs that have helped me out as I've grown to help shape me who I am today. And they weren't my paternal dads. They were just old heads who took me under their wing and taught me some stuff that I needed to know as a man. Um, as time moved on, and I try my best to be that same guy to everyone, to all the young dudes that I meet. You don't have to be a father to be you don't have to be a dad to be a father or father figure to
Man, yo, you hitting it right on the head, man. And y'all, you guys have been preaching, and that's the one thing that is kind of scary, right? Looking at today's generation, like these guys don't really have those resources or those father figures or those mentors, and I think we got to do a better job. Not just us, but just everybody else in the community, and just educate because unfortunately we talked about last week. The violence is increasing, and I just think that right now it's just more important than ever to have those type of relationships, man.
for sure,
Mm.
for sure,
All
for
right,
sure.
fellas.
Rob,
Arizona, we appreciate you, man.
as
All right,
always,
man.
man, we
Take it
love you,
easy.
bro. Thank you for sliding through, man, as usual, coming with the knowledge and the information and the good insight and the good answers to questions, man. It is
It's a
knowledge.
deep topic, man.
It is
It's a
the topic.
sensitive
Hey, man.
topic.
Shanae, women are negatively impacted by not having fathers. Also, y'all just refer to we just refer to them as hoes and dummies.
Up with it,
You
up
know,
with it.
why is it his job to reach out to his dad? He is a father. It's his job to reach out to his son. I'm not looking for someone who don't want to be there.
Man,
You know,
that's what's
part
up.
of yeah. See, and that's part of. I'm gonna say this, Devon. That's part of growth and maturity. Ron said it best when there's something that you get selfishly for yourself once you really talk to your dad and learn something. Um, we're not out here making excuses.
Yeah,
Nobody's out
she just says that from a very, she. How can I say this?
here.
Because I asked Shanae
Shanae,
to text
hey,
in. I
Shanae,
asked her to text
Shanae,
in.
look, Shanae, I need you to text that number right now and bring your arse in here. Um,
My thing is like what Davon said. Why? Hey, what's up, Tracy? Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the birthday shout out. But why is it his job? Like why does a man have to continue to be pressured to always have to make the right decision for other people? Like, why do I? Because here's the thing, like, you had a dad
I got you,
for
Carlito. Hey,
a
Trey.
certain time, frame. Listen again,
Mm-hmm.
stick with me, baby. You had your dad in your life at an early age. I never had a dad, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like, how can you miss what you never had? You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't even have a 10 or 12 year experience with him, and then he left. Like, so it gets to the point to where I don't want to have to keep giving him chances or another third or fourth opportunity to meet with me to have a relationship. Like, it comes to a point to where I gotta keep it moving, man.
Yeah,
Arizona says the
and
sun
that's
has to be open.
and,
No
and
respecting human is going to force themselves on them. Some dude, what do you say? Some dads done reach out because of guilt.
yeah, and that's fact. And look, and that's completely up to you. It's completely your decision on how you want to carry how your relationship is. Um, the, the only thing we're trying to get across is there's something to be said. There's definitely something to be had that's different from having that relationship with father, whether it's now or later. And I'm gonna bring in the homie Carlito. Looks like he's got his phone all
Hey,
squared away from the previous
Carlito's
session.
What's
back.
up?
What's going on, Carlito?
What's up? What's up,
You
man? Hey,
upgraded
look,
to
I
T-Mobile.
got her. Yeah,
Hey, you ain't
upgrade
got no
to.
tuna fish sandwich, do you?
Hey,
Uh,
look, hey, man. I don't already ate. I ate already. Actually, you know what? We about to do some crabs in a minute. That's
That's what's up.
for Father's Day. Hey,
That's what's
yeah.
excellent.
So, happy Father's Day to you. If I'm assuming you guys are
Have
fathers,
Thank
right? All right. Yep. So y'all made some really good points. I love the points you were making. The a real good question that you asked is like, where does a young man go that is looking for a father or that's looking for that guidance? And I thought about that before too, because it's like, you see a lot of young men in the neighborhood and stuff like that, and I don't know, because they're not gonna, because a lot of men aren't gonna go out and reach out to young guys unless you're like in a school or a church or something like that. So I don't know, really where young guys would get that, because like you can't really look at it online or
The
see it on
scary thing,
TV.
Carlito, is the scary thing is like almost with some guys, you like to listen to what you like to hear.
Hmm.
So you might, and what I get a fear of, you might go to the places to be told or to hear what you like, as
Okay.
opposed to maybe going to that fatherly advice to where you might be, you might need to be told, look, son, you need to slow down.
Okay.
And that's my thing. That's what I was trying to throw out there. Like, like, where do we go?
and
Okay.
that's when we talk about now you being a part of that. You taking up that mantle of being that dude that's active in your community. um
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and that's not to say just to be like, be all up in their grills or any shit like that. That's
Hmm.
just saying, hey, being present, speaking to those kids when you going home or you coming out the door, asking them questions. Just knowing that your presence is there can also make a difference. You feel what I'm saying?
Oh
So
yeah. Oh
so
yeah.
I got a
That
na-
makes
I
sense.
got a, I got a
Yeah.
park next to my house, and every other day when school's in, they out there smoking. They at the basketball court, whatever. I make sure I speak my piece, even though I'm 150 feet away. I speak my piece. They know when I'm coming and I'm going, and they say,
Hmm.
"Hey, Mr. Ferguson, blah, say blah, we say blah." Just
But
that presence in itself
not to sound
makes a
stupid,
difference.
but I learned so much of my. I learned a lot from some of the men in the neighborhood and how they
Yeah,
carry things, and I seen how saying certain things got your ass whooped,
yep,
and I saw how certain behaviors had these repercussions. And honestly, I was blessed to be smart enough to add 1+1.
hmm
Hmm.
So that's what I'm saying, guys. And
Yeah.
yeah. Just being present.
Also, not to cut you off, but I also, one of the other comments that was in there about like, I forget the person's name, but they were saying about just because of fathers in the household, basically, it don't automatically mean that it's going to, that, what was, let me see the comment, but it was, I forget her, I think it was a lady
no,
who
I'm
said
with
it
you. Yeah,
about that, about the father, you still get messed up boys. But I think in most cases, a man being in a household is better, you know what I'm saying, than no man at all. You know, I just feel that way in most cases. Now we know that there's some drunks, some some drug
Abusive,
addicts,
right?
abusers, all kind of stuff. But you know what I'm saying. But in the black community, we see what happens now when we go through a whole generation of so many men not being in the household. You know,
Mhm.
we know what that gets us. You know, it gets us incarceration. It gets a lot of men lost, you know, mentally, sexually, all of that, you know. So we know that just that dominant figure being there and showing us how to do it. And it's like a lot of guys, you gotta see it in real life. You know,
Mhm.
you can't look at it and just be like, oh, okay, well, that's what he did from a distance. You got to see a man, a real man, rugged man do it in real life and be like, oh, okay, you know, that's what he did. Okay, so he goes to work, he comes home, he's loving to my mother, you know, he's loving to us, you know what I'm saying? You got to see it, you know, and then it's like, you could be like, okay, well, that's what I know I need to do, or this is what I would do better, or this is how I would correct it, you know, so.
Yeah,
And that's
representation
good.
matters.
That's good facts, man.
Representation matters 100%. And like you said, in certain situations, you know, a parent there, the other parent, the dad being there, does make a huge difference. Now,
Yeah.
yeah,
Even
and
the
even sometimes the absent ones, it makes a difference. So, and you
yeah.
learn, like we said, you learn what to do and what not to do. And
Mhm.
you know, kids do when there are two parents there. Whether it's, you know, we're just talking about fathers right now, but
And it's not a bash and dash session. It's Father's Day. You
yeah,
know, we still
Right.
loving dads, but we just
Mhm.
talking about different experiences. And Carlito, we appreciate you, man. You came through with some really valid points. And
100% with a better
thank you,
Yeah.
phone
man.
too.
Huh?
With a better phone too. I love you, man. Hey, shout out to Lovey for me. Save me
I
some
will.
crabs. I'm coming all the way out there to get some, you bastard. Don't tell me you having crabs and not invite me. Hate your guts.
Always
Happy Father's
welcome.
Day, bro, man.
Thank you, man.
Love
Okay.
you, bro. Yeah, yeah, man. So look, whenever, so your homegirl, where's Shanae? Shanae asked for the link. So I'm trying to look Shanae.
Shanae said go to the Boys and Girls Club. I don't even know if she's being sarcastic right now.
That's the
I'm
same
gonna
way
go
I learned
debate
to
with her
play
in a
sports
minute.
without dads. You can learn other things.
Oh, Shanae
Boys
Wilson, I
and
love
girls
my
clubs
baby.
don't exist anymore, man. Fathers, father, dads, dads play a
Man,
huge role, huge role. Um, for the little fanfare that they always try to portray. Um, it's about being present, being there, and setting the example, setting the
you
example.
know, before we close, right? Um,
We
you know,
can't hold
I
on. We can't close. There's no way we can close without bringing Shanae on the stage. No
oh
way
my
in
goodness.
Israel.
Now, what was you saying,
Oh,
Alan?
oh my goodness. She came through.
I
She
saw that you just
came
walked down the
through.
steps.
No, I'm glad. I'm glad there's no steps on the show.
Okay, don't make me
Those are
come down
imagined.
there.
So, welcome, Shanae, to the All Just Up podcast. My name is Huff Streams. How are you?
You
This is
gonna be
K
funny.
Dizzle DC. She
What,
pixelated.
what's up? What's up,
How you
Shanae?
doing, Shanae?
What you
I'm
got?
good. I
Talk
just
to
want
me.
to know, like y'all talking about one side of fathers not being there. Like females are negatively impacted by that as well. But or y'all don't give like y'all don't see that side of it. Y'all just go in and bash them, and they grow up to be women who just fall for men that tell them anything. But we don't get a pass. But y'all get a pass for everything.
No, 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 no. That's not what we're
Nobody
saying.
said that.
That's not what we're saying. And I see what you're talking about. We're talking. We've been focused on the male side of it, because fathers can only teach young men how to be better fathers. And so we didn't exclude them on purpose. Not no way, shape, form, or fashion at all. Women get as equally impacted when there is no father in the household, and neither one of them gets a pass. Period. Point blank.
But
Um,
some shit is just common sense though. Like as a
what?
human, you know what's right from wrong. Like
But
my
see, I
dad,
disagree.
hold on, let me finish. My dad grew up in a house with both of his parents, and when I came along, he made the choice whether he wanted to show up sometimes or not. And what my mother did is when he wanted to show up, she would allow him, And then when he didn't, I was left there crying, waiting for him to come pick me up. But it's just like, just because you have that male role model there, that doesn't mean that you're going to turn out to be, the next Harvard graduate. You got a wife with 4 kids. It's some men that grow up in that environment and still run around on women. But
Yeah.
as an adult, you know that it's not right to cheat on someone. You
Mhm.
didn't need a dad to be there to tell you that if you got a girl that loving one person and not sticking your dick in other people is right or wrong. Like,
Mhm.
that. Some shit
Yeah.
is just human common sense.
But see, you're mixing. You're kind of mixing up the message
I
a little
agree.
bit.
I agree.
I agree, and we're talking about you kind of mixing up the message a little bit. We're not saying that all situations are equal. We're saying all
There's a lot of
situations are
noise
not
in the
equal.
background of your
We're
call,
saying that
Sinead.
there's an important part of it. There's an important part that a man plays in that role, whether it's good or bad. There are certain characteristics and things that you get from having a father figure in a household that you're not going to get by not having them. Same way, if you don't have a mother figure in the household, and with a man raising a woman or young girl, young boy, and so just because they're there
Mhm.
doesn't mean that they're present, and just because they're there doesn't mean that they're teaching all the right stuff, like you said.
But how
It,
long can you continue to use that as an excuse? At some point in your life, you have to take responsibility for your actions. You can't go back and blame your parents and lack thereof parents or people not being there, or
Well, let
your
me
parents making
interject
the
here.
choices. Go ahead and interject because you already did.
My whole thing is that you say common sense, right? And I'm not attacking what you're coming. I'm not. Excuse me. I'm not coming at you because you come from a valid point. You're making a valid point, but you can't necessarily say all common sense is so common. And if you don't have a dad, you should just know how to do certain things and this and that. Like there's a line that you have to draw because everything's not always just ingrained into you as a child,
mhm.
and that's for men and women.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, to be fair to women too, like, it's not always just common sense. You think, and that's where the term daddy issues came from when it came to women. A lot of women get preyed upon because they've had weaker relationships with their dad, and again, unfortunately, a lot of men call that daddy issues, and again, it's just poor relationships, in my opinion.
Mhm.
But there's certain things, though, Sinead, before you go to, like, that I think that a male role model has to teach a man versus a woman teaching him, and
I
vice
agree.
versa.
I agree,
Yeah.
but at a certain point, you got to take responsibility for your own life. Like, you have to
I
wake up and
agree.
look at yourself in the mirror and say, okay, I didn't grow up with a father, or I did grow up with a father, or I didn't grow up with a mother. But it's my responsibility for me to be the person that I want to become.
Right.
So get
Right.
help if you need to. Talk to somebody if you need to. Forgive somebody that you may need to,
Yeah.
because not a lot of us don't realize that our parents were growing up while they were having us, and we
Exactly.
don't give we don't give them a pass. We just say, oh, this person wasn't there, so therefore
Right.
I hate them. Like, no, like that resentment doesn't suit you. It doesn't help you become a better person. So
And
look in the mirror, take responsibility and accountability for your actions. Forgive your mother, your father, whoever you need to. Go
hey,
get a good
hey,
therapist to help you work through that shit, and then go on with your life.
hey, Sinead, hey, see, you missed that. You missed that whole part. We talked about that. And look, Sinead has a certain personality where she's hard line about, all right, fix that shit, and
Yep.
that's fact,
And
right?
that came from my mom. My
Right.
dad was
And look,
there when he wanted to be, but
ex-
like,
ex-
I'm not gonna fault him for anything. I still love
exactly,
my father. And to
exactly,
this day, I know I don't give my father the opportunity to lie to me, because I know I accept him for who he is. So I'm not
right.
gonna call him and say, Daddy, what color is the sky? The shit gonna be blue, but he gonna tell me it's purple just because it's in his nature. But I love him to death. That's my
Yep.
father. But I accept him for who he is. And sometimes I feel like we just need to accept people for who they are, who they were, and let that shit go.
And that's one of the things we said. With age comes maturity, and with maturity comes growth. And the only way that you can grow out of those feelings of resentment, or those quote unquote daddy issues, or those separation anxiety, or whatever the hell that you have, the only way that you can really deal with it is by growing up, maturing, and actually forgiving that person for yourself and growing out of it. And you're right.
Yeah, stop
People
making
do lean on
excuses.
excuses. Lean on that
Don't
stuff
go
and
shoot
say,
up a
well,
nigga and say, "Oh, I did it because my dad wasn't there."
right. But
Like, come on now,
people,
wrong is wrong. You
it,
know,
it,
murder is going to give you time in jail if your ass get caught, or somebody going to come back and kill you.
and
Wrong is wrong.
we know that because that's just people who do that are immature and never have confronted those internal issues
Right,
and actually dealt with it.
right,
So we don't excuse those people. We don't give them a pass. All adults that are grown and mature that have understand that and work through it know that that's the line of bullshit. So that's a given. That's a fact. And part of it is not everybody is on the same path or the same timeline as far as the healing process. So you got to be able to give some people a certain amount of time to heal so they can get through this shit and work through it. And it's the same like with death. Some people mourn mourn their significant other, mourn their mom, mourn their dad, mourn their grandmother for years. But it's never going to get right until they work through it. And so you got to give them time to be able to get through that.
Well, I'm done. The last thing I'm gonna leave y'all with is the excuses you argue for, you get to keep. So if you want to keep talking about who you didn't have, then you get to keep all those excuses. So give moms the credit that they're due. I know it's Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the great dads out there. My cousin is one of them, and he didn't grow up with a father, but he's an excellent father to my niece.
Amen to that.
So
Amen.
he doesn't use the excuse of my dad wasn't there, so I don't know how to love my daughter and teach her right from wrong. He shows up because he knows it's the right thing to do.
And he's the example that we talked about.
absolutely.
Exactly. So
Even
shouts
not
out to the
having the
good dads
example.
out there that show up for their kids
Yeah.
and for the dads that are trying.
It like we said, whether they're there or not, you learn and you learn who you want to be and how what kind of man you want to be and what kind of man you don't want to be. And he chose what kind of man he wanted to be by using what he didn't have to be the best thing that he could be for his kids. So
Yeah.
love you, boo. I love you.
Thank you, Shanae.
Of course, Alan, I'll see you in 5 minutes.
All right. So on that note, we're gonna keep the episode going.
I know a
Another
guy who grew up
15.
with two dads. Hey, plus one.
Hey
Whatever
man,
works, man.
we love them all.
We love them all, man.
But
Look,
this is what I thought though, Kath. It was going to be a lot of different opinions. It's another sensitive topic, but another great topic, man. To round out our 20th episode of the All Dressed Up podcast, man. Round of applause for the 20th episode.
man. Thank
Love
you, thank you,
you
thank
too, Shanae K Dizzle. I really appreciate you, man. Another great one in the books. We talked about fatherhood on this Father's Day. Shout out to you. I know you do your thing with your four daughters, man. Keep doing your thing. Being the great role model that you are. I know you're working on a lot of great projects. Good luck to that. But start kicking it in gear with us on Spotify and all of the platforms.
you. We are there.
Mr. Tech King.
You should see all the episodes sometime this week on Spotify, on Apple iTunes, on Pandora, on where's the list, man? On freaking everywhere.
A couple
Um,
people asked me, and they was like, "Yeah, I mean, we wanted to check you out on Spotify." I said, "Well, we're definitely coming up on that one. I think in the next 7 days."
mhm.
But
And
definitely,
and
put our socials up. Hit us up on socials. We are accepting that video. We do want
right
you
there
to
on
send
time,
us that 10
on time.
second video of what the All Dressed Up podcast means to you, good or bad. We're gonna come out with a fun promo with all the people that watch us and enjoy us every week. And you can send us your 10-second video to that email address at the bottom, all dressed up podcast at gmail.com.
You did it all, bro. I ain't got Philly about to lose.
Uh
Good
oh, uh
night.
oh, uh oh, uh
Good
oh.
night.
Atlanta, Trey Young.
Good night. Well, there goes my prediction. But hey, shout out to the dads. Shout out to the role models. Shout out to all the people who are figures, just figures in the community. Shout out to all those who just want to do good, man. Because we need as many examples as humanly possible in this world. With everything going on, These young people are crying out for help in so many different forms and fashions. There's
Very
so much
true.
pressure on them than any other time in history with social media that they need good figures to look up to and they need guidance. And it could be something as small as just being there, just saying hello, just making sure your presence is known. My mom always told me when you walk into a room, say, speak. When you walk
Yeah,
into a room, speak. Let them know your presence. Let them know you are there, and that makes a huge difference. Hell of a difference. Shout out to the dads. Shout out to you, half man. Keep doing what you do, bro. And you have a lot of things on your plate too, that I'm excited about as well. And we just gonna keep this thing rolling. You can find us everywhere. Submit your videos, All Dressed Up Podcast. Sometimes we need a therapist in the Black community. Um, a therapist is unheard of.
absolutely.
We need to get out of that stigma. A
We were
hundred
talking about
and
that a few
ten
episodes ago.
percent. Yeah, we talked about the therapist, and talked about that stigma, man. We're gonna probably rerun some of that stuff and revisit some of that because it's important, man.
Yeah,
It's hugely important. Um, get your shit together. Work through what you got to work through. And time is time is the only thing that matters on this world. It's the only finite resource that you can't get back. You can't trade it. You can't sell it. So do the best with what you got, and keep working through it. We're all a work in progress. Parenting is a work in progress. It's a learning experience that you only learn by doing. So don't hold grudges. We're all learning, and every child is different. Every parent's different. Every situation is different. Shout out to the dads, man. Hope y'all had a great weekend. Hope you had a great week. And we look forward to episode 21 next Sunday. 21, man.
21 already.
21.
And you know what, man? And you said some profound things, and you know, can't hate, can't be holding grudges, and you can't make excuses. I definitely I learned a lot today talking to the chat and talking to our guests. But just spread love and positive energy. If you have kids around you, try to lead by example. You know, these kids definitely need some positive reinforcement, and you don't have to be, their dad or their mom to do the right thing. So thank you guys for joining us again. Hit us up on the socials. All Dressed Up Podcast is the new channel. Love you, K Dizzle DC. Great episode, man.
Great episode, man. See y'all next week.
And 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 they know, 'cause we go all in, and I know, they know.